Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Posterior pituitary gland and its relation to the hypothalamus are discussed in this video. Posterior pituitary gland is also termed as neurohypophysis, and this neurohypophysis is composed of glial-like cells that are also known as pituocytes. These pituocytes are not responsible for secretion of the hormone. They are glial supportive structure. They act as scaffolding for the nerve terminal fiber and nerve endings that originate from supraoptic nuclei, the supraoptic nuclei and the paraventricular nucleus. So both these nucleus, the supraoptic and paraventricular, both lie in the hypothalamus. The nerve tract from these nuclei, they travel through the pituitary hypophyseal stalk and they end as bulbous knobs in the posterior pituitary. These knobs contain the secretory granules. Nerve endings lie close to the capillaries and secrete two key hormones directly into the bloodstream. These are antidiuretic hormone, also known as vasopressin, and oxytocin. Whenever the pituitary stalk is cut above the posterior pituitary, but the hypothalamus remains intact, the hormone secretion continues. But there is a temporary decrease that lasts for a few days, and afterwards the secretion resumes from the cut end in the hypothalamus, not from the pituitary gland itself. The ADH vasopressin is primarily produced in the supraoptic nuclei, while the oxytocin is primarily produced in the paraventricular nucleus. Each nucleus can make up as much as 1/6 of the other hormone. So the hormones are synthesized. This is a peptide hormone. So the hormones are synthesized in the cell bodies of these nuclei. They are combined with carrier proteins that are termed as neurophysin and transported down through the axon to the posterior pituitary glands. This process takes several days. As the nerve impulse arises, this triggers exocytosis of the hormone containing granules, and hormone plus neurophysin, they are released together, and then absorbed into the capillaries that are lying in close proximity. And then as the hormone is absorbed along with this neurophysin in the blood, the hormone is separated from the neurophysin, and this neurophysin has no known function after a release. So the basic processes or basic concepts are hormone synthesis that occur in hypothalamic nuclei, not in the posterior pituitary. The supraoptic nucleus is responsible for ADH, while paraventricular nucleus is responsible for oxytocin release. Then via axon, it is transported along with the neurophysin, and the release is triggered by nerve impulse. And even after cutting the pituitary stalk, its release continues. Both these hormones, the vasopressin and oxytocin, they have got 9 amino acids. They are polypeptide and have got 9 amino acids, and only have got minor structural differences. But these minor structural differences lead to distinct function, such as the antidiuretic hormone is responsible for water resorption in the kidney and also for vasoconstriction, while oxytocin is responsible for uterine contraction, milk letdown, and emotional bonding. So, both of these are peptide hormone and 9 amino acid containing, but their major difference is phenylalanine and arginine and isoleucine and leucine at position 3 and 8. And their similarity is high, but only two amino acids are different. And due to this functional similarity, there is a partial overlap in their function also. Only small quantities of the antidiuretic hormone, in as small as 2 nanogram, they can exert the effect of this hormone, the physiological effect of this hormone. That is the decrease excretion of water by the kidney or antidiuresis. In the absence of ADH, the collecting tubule and duct, they become water impermeable, so no water reabsorption occur and increased water loss occurs in the urine. While in the presence of ADH or antidiuretic hormone, the collecting tubule and ducts, they become water permeable. The permeability is increased. So there will be increased water reabsorption from the collecting tubule and the duct and less water loss in the urine. So there will be excretion of concentrated urine, conserving water in the body. So, what is the mechanism of action of this hormone? How does it function? The ADH hormone, it binds to its receptor that is present on the tubular epithelial cells of the collecting duct. And then it causes the increased adenylyl cyclase activity within these tubular epithelial cells. And as a result, the cyclic AMP activity is increased. Increased cyclic AMP will cause the phosphorylation of these uh, membrane bound granules that are present within the epithelial cells, and they contain these aquaporin. So cyclic AMP activation will result in phosphorylation of the proteins aquaporins, and they then are expressed on the luminal side of the epithelial cells of the collecting duct. So here they are responsible for increased water permeability. Water goes from here to the interstitium, and from the interstitium it is absorbed by the osmosis. So this process takes about 5 to 10 minutes to occur, and if the ADH is available, this process reverses within another 5 to 10 minutes. So the increased extracellular fluid osmolarity stimulates the secretion of antidiuretic hormone. So when the concentrated electrolyte solution is injected into the artery that is supplying the hypothalamus, there is increased secretion of this hormone or increased release of this hormone into the blood, and sometimes it can go up to about 20 times of the normal. While if the dilute electrolyte solutions are injected into the artery, there is a decrease in osmolarity, and this will result in the absence or low concentration of these hormone in the uh, uh, blood. So there is role of some osmoreceptors that sense these changes, and they are lying in close proximity to the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei. So these osmoreceptor cells are modified neuron receptors that lie in or near hypothalamus, supraoptic nuclei, and organum vasculosum that is present in the anteroventral wall of the third ventricle, and these osmoreceptors sense the loss of fluid, and they are responsive to concentrated or diluted extracellular fluid. So, in these conditions, they send in nerve signals, and hence the antidiuretic hormone is released. Moderately increased antidiuretic hormone concentration will result in arteriolar constriction, and this arterial constriction will result in increased arterial pressure, and therefore due to this effect this hormone is also termed as vasopressin. Whenever there is decreased blood volume, so the blood pressure is also decreased, the concentration of this ADH is increased. It may be secreted about 50 times of the normal to conserve water and raise the pressure. And during low blood volume or as much as 15% below normal to 25% of normal or more decreased blood volume, this quantity may also increase up to 50 times of the normal. So due to this low blood volume, the atrial stretch receptors are unexcited. So uh, there is less inhibition and more ADH secretion. There is also receptor input by the baroreceptor, and reduced stretch in carotid, aortic, pulmonary receptors will result in increased ADH secretion. So ADH has got dual action. It in low doses it causes water retention in kidney, while in high doses it is responsible for vasoconstriction of the arteriole. This can be depicted as emergency firefighter mode. Imagine your body's arteries and kidneys are like a city with the water pipes and pressure valves. Normal ADH is like a water saving manager, but during an emergency, that is low blood volume and pressure, a firefighter ADH arrives. So this firefighter closes water outflow valves, means kidney, to save water, and also tightens the street pipes that are arterioles to boost water pressure, that is the blood pressure. The oxytocin that is secreted from the paraventricular nucleus of the hypothalamus is considered or thought to uh, be responsible for contraction of the pregnant uterus. The evidence of this function is by certain beliefs and some proofs that in hypophysectomized animal the duration of labor is prolonged, that indicate a possible effect of oxytocin during delivery. Also, during labor, this plasma concentration of this oxytocin increases, especially during the last stage. And stimulation of the cervix in pregnant animal elicits a nervous signal that passes to the hypothalamus and causes increased secretion of the oxytocin. This can be summarized as the primary role of the oxytocin is powerful stimulation of the uterine contraction during late pregnancy and labor. The hypophysectomy or removal of the pituitary prolongs the labor that suggests the role of the oxytocin during the labor, and its levels rise during labor stages. So body naturally increases its level to assist delivery. And third evidence is that the cervical stimulation triggers the hypothalamic signal that promote the release of oxytocin through a neuroendocrine reflex. Another function of this oxytocin is that it aids in the milk ejection by the breast, or it is responsible for milk ejection reflex or milk let down. So when the baby suckles the nipple, it stimulates the sensory nerve ending, and oxytocin neurons in the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei, they release oxytocin, and through blood there is contraction of the myoepithelial cells that are responsible in the milk letdown or milk ejection. This process takes about 1 minute to complete. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any query, please write in the comment box.